Okay, and we're live. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm just going to do a little bit of rambling while we wait for one or two people to come and join us live on the stream. Also, I'll just get straight into it, I think, because a lot of people will be picking up the recording. So it's Saturday afternoon, the 27th of February, currently 20 minutes after 4 o'clock here on the Costa Blanca. 20 minutes past 3, which means it's 20 minutes past kick-off time, and these two gentlemen have given me their time to come and join me on a little bit of a conversation that we're having about promoting ourselves, promoting our events, promoting our products, and looking for feedback from you guys who we are trying to reach, and also seeing if we can answer any of your questions. So just to introduce you to the two guests. I'm sure they both are known by most of my friends, but I'll begin with that lovely chocolatey gentleman on the top. I'm not sure if that's politically correct in today's climate, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Mr. Stuart Ojelay, good afternoon, brother.
Afternoon, Wardy.
You
Thanks, man.
okay?
All is well. All is well and good.
Good, good, good. So how are the baggies doing? What's the score?
We are currently winning 1-0, and Brighton have just missed a penalty.
Happy
So,
days.
on
Happy
you, bro.
days. Okay, and then underneath him, the not so chocolatey gentleman, although he does like a little bit of chocolate, apparently, Mr. Jansch, Greatrix. Good
Good
afternoon, sir.
afternoon.
Also, one eye on the Blues. Where I didn't actually ask, are you at home, away? Who are you playing?
We're at home against QPR. I've turned it off because I'll be too. If we if we have a goal score, I'll probably throw my iPad across the room. So no, I'll turn it off now.
Well, it's okay. We're all friends here. It's just a little bit of a chat, really. The whole premise of why I'm doing this, first and foremost, is because over the last few weeks, I've been trying to push a few little things that I'm doing myself. I've been inspired by the way other people have been pushing their own events, promotions, record releases, and so on. And I've also had people contact me to say how they themselves have had ideas from things that I've been doing. Now, the reason that I've selected you two guys is because you've both got quite successful platforms, groups here on Facebook that you've developed over the last few years. Over the last few years, we'll come to you both individually. So, Stu, tell us first of all, very, very briefly, because as I say, I'm sure most people know who you are. Just tell us 30 seconds about your timeline of where you started as a DJ, your romance with the media, so to speak, and promoting, and to where you are now.
Well, quickly, mate. My journey started at the Canal Club back in 1997ish when I was a DJ, when I was a barman there, mate, and then turned promoter to DJ. Fast forward to doing the Birmingham, all the club scene around Birmingham and Wolverhampton, and promoting. Then going abroad to play for Money Pennies over in Portobellonis. Came back, did word of mouth from 2007, and then also from there I produced tracks. Then those tracks got picked up by Ministry and Head Candy. Toured with Head Candy for 4 years. Then actually from when I finished with Head Candy, wasn't really too sure what to do. So then I picked up the pace with word of mouth, kind of diversified really and concentrated on the older clientele, shall I say, the 25s plus, moved out of nightclubs into more venues like hotels, and thankfully, and then from there, mate, just quickly about going into virtual events again. When the first lockdown happened, cleaned out my cellar, mate, and I'd already had some experience on live streaming, but never really used the mic either. So that kind of enabled a more of an interactive thing.
You wouldn't think it to watch you on air now. To be fair, that you'd
No,
never
mate,
used the microphone
mate, to be fair, I
before.
was thinking, I actually don't know when I do real gigs, am I going to be shouting at people? I'm like, come on, I don't know, do you know what I mean? So, like, the transition's going to be weird, mate, to be fair. Whether, like if people aren't dancing, I'm going, what are you doing? Come on, let's have it. So that's me anyway, pal.
Wonderful. You missed out that you had quite a lot of eyes on you as well with your weekly. Was it weekly or monthly press? You used to do club reviews and things like that.
Yeah, mad mate. Yeah, to be fair, I just basically sell myself for a living, Andy. To be fair, yeah, that's all I do. But yeah, I mean, with that, it was. I mean, even now, because I get frustrated, let's say, because any press generally, with the press, they're quick enough to shout when things go bad. Do you know what I mean? If there's anything bad happening in the club, but if you're out there doing good, I suppose it doesn't get as many clicks. But so you send in there and you're just not getting anything. And you know, in this game, the more people see your content, you'd like to think that the more growth in your brand. But yeah, buddy, I used to write every Friday for the Express and Star, no matter where I was. And it, you know, I did enjoy getting the links off people, seeing what they were up to. And yeah, man, so yeah, all good.
Brilliant. And Jansch as well, in the last 12 months, you began a page here on Facebook when this whole Corona thing kicked off. I watched your live broadcast the other week, so I'm fully, the couple of days ago actually, so I'm fully aware of the story, but feel free to tell the story again of your thinking about that, how it came about, and the journey and where you are now.
Yeah, so obviously, well, last March, obviously went into lockdown. Obviously, I started DJing probably, well, I don't call myself a DJ. You've taught and nurtured me, and everyone else nurtured me, should I say, and obviously forced me to go and do a little bit of decks and stuff. Bought my own decks, and then obviously when the first lockdown thing came, I basically started off Corona, we will get through this. Just started off just basically to help a few people, really, to like trying to help with people's, you know, well-being and stuff, being locked away in the house and stuff. Then all of a sudden there was this DJ saying, I'll work on and play for you, and that DJ saying, and then I reached out to both yourself, you came and played on there, people like Terry Hunter, Stacey Kidd, Sven. We had them all on there in the very, very early days. So I think that gave us such a big lift in those early days straight away. And like, you know, I've got people like Colin Williams to thank massively for that, for linking us up. And, you know, we reached out to a lot of DJs, and straight away we were, you know, basically sprung into like, you know, stratosphere to basically, and then obviously, you know, people like Stu and people like, you know, Mark Jarman and that were doing it as well. So obviously the group came from there. About 2 or 3 months on from there, we changed it to Through Music We Live On. And now, 12 months on, we're at over 20,000 people on the group. We went out to Mixcloud in November, I think it was. Got 2,500 people on there. But obviously this is what we're here to talk about, is obviously they'll reach out to the people. So really, Through Music We Live On was to help people get through the lockdown, which it has every day. Probably I get a message off certain people all over the world, really, saying, oh, you've helped us do this, and you know, without you guys, I don't know where we would have been. But obviously, you know, Facebook and that have helped a lot of people, obviously, with what we've done. We've been able to stream and people, that kind of thing. But obviously, that, you know, we're going to get into that where it's all changed and stuff. So really, obviously, you know, my mum passed away over 18 months ago as well with cancer. It was a little bit of thing to try and raise money with that as well. And I never ever thought that we'd be here a year on, obviously still doing it. And I run a festival every week, basically trying to organise 35 DJs a week.
I do have a wry smile to myself every now and again when, not just yourself but other people, they'll comment and say to me, Wardy, I don't know how you do it, mate. I never realised before you know, how much was involved in putting things together. We only do whatever it is, and you have to do this. And it's, you know, it is mental, the amount of effort that is involved in coordinating these things. But, you know, that aside, so we've given a background as to all that we do. The whole reason that I wanted to reach out to people was to offer advice on you guys as to how you raised your profiles, some of the pitfalls that you found along the way, and also some thoughts on how this is all going to progress when people come out of the lockdown. So first of all, Stu, you've created quite a good brand for yourself. I know people who live nearby to you and they've only got great things to say about the brand, what you've created. All three of us, I believe, have got the same ethos, that the attention to detail has to be on the punter. I think otherwise you just get you just get seen through. You seem to be cashing in on people. Would you say that's correct? Would you say all your focus is purely on delivering a good product to the punter? Stu?
Yeah, mate, I'll be honest with you. I've always got like a cheesy saying, and one of mine's that I'm a DJ from the dance floor. Do you know what I mean? Of where like if I'm not DJing, I'm on the floor. I'm having a drink with me mates. You know, like before I was a DJ or anything, I'm a clubber first. Do you know what I mean? So if people aren't out there, I play music. You know, I try not to take myself too seriously, even though I was about to say, you know, I thought the other day I haven't done an event like without doing an Excel spreadsheet first. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of took the professionalism with that, add that to the mix of where it's a party atmosphere. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the brand. You know, I still want people to dress up, but then it's not that serious. Do you know what I mean? There's not that many VIP tables and things. Do you know what I mean? You go in there for a tear up, you're surrounded by like-minded people. And that's kind of our brand, really. And, you know, it's not a serious clubbing brand, but yeah, it's not your.
But you do want to set yourself apart to have a little bit of reputation as being slightly more upmarket, but whilst not pretentious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
there you go. That's your tagline. You see.
There you go. Upmarket, but not pretentious.
There you go. And I would say, is it fair to say that you do try and branch out? Commercial is seen as a negative word, but you do, because you do larger events, you do have to reach out to a wider audience, which does, to a degree, have to make it a little bit more commercial. And I say that hesitantly because between, you know, DJs and the underground, commercially seen as a negative thing, but I think it's fair to say between you and I, your events would be more commercial because you have a wider reach, and so that affects the way that you have to promote it.
Well, mate, you know, for me, you know, obviously I idolise like people like yourself are making tracks like Soul Central, like Strings of Life. At the end of the day, you know, if that's commercial now because it was popular, I'm commercial all over, mate. Don't worry about that. You know, Ojelay, all stuff like that, mate. Mate, if I was making tracks like that, you can call me. I'm not
even talking about from the music point of view. I'm talking about who you have to reach. Your reach has to be a wider. You have to cast a wider net to reach out to more people to be able to get 3,000 people in a stately home.
Definitely, mate. And if you think, you know, we kind of got the tagline, you know, it's of club classics, really. Do you know what I mean? But then if you think within that theory, you know, guys like Dr. Packer, etc., who are just doing unbelievable work. So if you playing their remixes earlier, then you're finishing off with the classics. Our events always do have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Do you know what I mean? But just on what Jansch was saying of how busy it is at the moment, I know a few lads are listed, so I'm very like, if you think with me, one of the points through this and even through the events, you've got to keep your circle more or less, you know, you've got to be surrounded by really good people. If you're taking it on one through this, just like to be on like the other end of the phone, guys like Danny Roberts, who I know, if I give a shout out, I know, like, but you know, those guys to be on the end of the phone, to bounce off ideas. There's certain times where I'd have thought, I'm glad I spoke to you first, rather than going on Facebook having a rant or something, because you'd come across like a bit of a fool, to be fair. So taking a deep breath, calling your mates. You know, I'm very fortunate to have like a really good people out there, Shush and Will, who have just commented. You know, we've got our own like WhatsApp group of the DJs who play. You know, that's kind of our safety net to bounce stuff off, really. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, you know, trial before anything goes live. And I think, Jansch, I'm sure you'll agree, if you don't have that network to bounce off, your head would just explode, wouldn't it, really?
Yeah, definitely so. Like I say, I mean, you know, our group, I mean, your obviously, your brand that you've got, Stuart, is completely different to obviously what I've done. It's been created in lockdown. It's been created by, it's a virtual, do you know what I mean? It's a virtual party, really, that we have every single day kind of thing. So, I mean, I get messages, you know, since the lockdown's been announced, well, the release of lockdown's been announced, the phone's not stopped pinging, when we're doing this, when we're doing that. So I've reached out to a few places and said, okay, can we get this place, can we get that? And at the moment, because we've not done anything, you're going to know the answer to this, and Andy will know the answer to this. It's a no, because such and such want this and such want that. Do you know what I mean? So at the moment, I'm up in limbo, and what it is, I want to put on a couple of events, obviously for the people, and give back a little bit of a party for these people who've supported every single day, and give a little bit of a party. So at the moment, obviously reaching out to venues and saying, you know, can we do this? Can we do that? At the moment, I'm just saying, oh, you know, I mean, someone come back to me, said the other day that we're not giving out dates yet, and even Jesus is inquiring. I said, well, forget about Jesus. Tell him God wants it.
Boom. Nice. So taking that from the online party to the next level of actually getting people through the doors, that's one of the avenues that I wanted to address here. The frustrations that I know you've had, Jansch, I know you've had, Stu. We've all talked about this between us all. I'll just talk very briefly about my experiences as a promoter. I'm not here to promote anything myself, but I'll just tell you my own story. I was always a DJ. At the same time, I then helped to push the parties that I was doing. It began at Marco Polo's, just reaching out to my friends. I then got gigs around the country. I said, yeah, let me put some coaches on. Started to put coaches on. That enabled me to get into back rooms of big clubs. Then as my skills got better and more people got to know about me, I started to get the headline gigs. But I never really classed myself as a promoter because it was all about sharing what I was doing, branching out to my friends, and I've had the support of my friends all the way through this, which is important. Then with the onset of social media, being able to reach people who weren't necessarily in my immediate network enabled me to reach people with my radio show, and then reaching people on Facebook, they started hearing about the vocal booth, and that's how it grew and grew. So slowly from 250, 300 people up until at our peak, 700 people. But all of those 700 people you could tag back to the original crew that were there. And that has always been important for me. I've never wanted to branch out and just reach your random Joe Public. And yet at the same time, I'm sure there are hundreds of thousands of Joe Public out there who would love what we do. And that's the balance that I torment myself with from time to time, in keeping true to my original format and reaching out other people who don't know about it. And yet at the same time, I say to myself, because I'm a Gemini, so I've got crazy split personalities, I say, well, everybody who knows about vote, everybody who should know about it knows about it by now, and if they don't, then I don't want them. And then I have an argument with myself and say, well, that's the wrong attitude to have. Can you guys relate to that?
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, like the one thing you want about there, and what intrigues me with like the real world events and the transition from being a younger DJ, it was more or less a hobby. You'd go out, because I had a proper job basically in the day. So if you're thinking, then other nights, I used to go out and DJ with basically all my mates, do you know what I mean? Then end up at an after party, and then you'd spend all your wages that you were a DJ. And what was poignant with our events, like before lockdown, we were going great guns, and I thought, you know what, I'm quite proud that I've sold out this event and none of my mates are there. Do you know what I mean? I was like, hold on a sec, I've got no one to go out with here. Like, how
did you get to that point then? Sorry for talking over you. How did you get to the point from it stop being about your mates and then just random is again a negative word, but for want of a better word, how did you get to that point?
I'll be honest with you, again, surround myself with good people, and like for instance, and also I did take on quite a lot of myself, because of, you know, if you think like to be an event organizer now, you're a graphic designer, you need all the tools for that. Trying to wait for graphics and videos and social media stuff is going to cost you hundreds of pounds. That again, on my Excel spreadsheet, I can't afford to pay. So can I afford to pay a headline DJ? No, I can't. Right? So, you know, I have to try and get myself across there, and also I've stuck to my guns, Wardy, at the end of the day. I'm not playing music that I don't like, you know. So, and I'm playing, you know, what am I okay at? Club classics, funky house classics. What is my key market? You know, the more or less older clientele to that. Working with venues who are friends, so you're working deals with people that works for both. You know, and I'm sure people hopefully work with me. I'm not greedy. You know, people would say to me, oh, you should do a festival with 10,000 people, put that headliner on. And I'm like, okay, sounds good, but the net profit is still going to be the same with that headliner. Or if we have 2,000 people, is my brand going to be any bigger? Am I going to be any happier? No, not really. Do you know what I mean? My ego's big enough. I'm not doing this anymore to be cool. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm doing it because I enjoy myself, right? I'm surrounded by good people and I can sleep at night. Do you know what I mean? So, and what worries me, you know, I'm sure all the lads who are listening who play for us, they know what time they're playing, they know how much they're getting paid, and, you know, and that's the way I like it. You know, at the end of the night, they get paid. Or, for instance, now, one of the good things about doing events now is obviously like the e-tickets and Skiddle and stuff. If you're thinking, mate, if we had all the tickets sold, if I had that money now, I'd be going crazy. My anxiety would be through the roof. So fair play to people like Skiddle who are still alive out there. Their format is obviously going to be huge going forward, you know, where everyone's just got the tickets on the phone. Bosh, you're in. Do you know what I mean? So that's the kind of transition.
I mean, depending on the size of your, and there's nothing I can tell you about promoting an event, but depending on the size of the party that you're doing, you could do that yourself through your own website. You've built your own site. You've got all the tools there. You could sell the tickets directly through your website, and then you're not paying that £1.50, £2 per ticket. And it's no more hassle, to be fair. But that's a conversation for a different show, because I got some good friends who are actually marketing managers at Skiddle and things like that. So I'm not trying to, you know, get anybody to sidestep them before I get shouted at.
Email from Skiddle, mate.
So Jansch, who's thinking about going into down that line, let's not get too wrapped up in the pros and cons of doing that. Let's talk about the frustrations, your frustrations, Jansch, having your 20,000 people on your Facebook group and then trying to get them over and watch you on Mixcloud, and then you'll see the numbers. And I'm never ashamed to share the numbers of viewers that I have. It's there clear for all to see. My computer's froze as yours did the other day, Jansch, so I can't see how many people are viewing now. There might be 25, 30, 40 people viewing, but then over the course of the recording and watch backs, you'll get a couple of hundred people watching it. Now that's all well and good, but I personally don't see the benefit of being on Facebook and saying, look how many thousands of people we've got viewing. And the reality of it is, you've got 2,000 people who have looked at it for 5 seconds, because you can see from the analytics, that's cool, and then carried on scrolling. It's better to have a core group of people who you know are watching you, who are there with you all the way, and Stu will talk about this after. That's the important thing. So I've said to you, Jansch, you need to, don't worry about the frustration, and I'll get back to the question I was asking you. You're happy with the numbers that when you broadcast on air, and tell us about the frustrations of bringing them across and how you've struggled to do it.
Yeah, so like I say, obviously when we had Facebook and Stu obviously will know about this, obviously, you know, Facebook now, because of the licensing, you know, you can stream live for probably 5-10 minutes, get cut off. They'll still allow you to stream, but they won't allow anyone to comment, and they won't allow anyone to, you know, it'll show that there's 0 viewers there. So obviously back in November, we moved to Mixcloud. Now, Mixcloud, as you well know, it's like asking someone to get on a rocket and go into space. And, you know, it's crazy. We've done videos to show people how easy it is. I mean, even Mr. Comarsh, he does his own show. The other day I said to him, you know, he said, I came onto your show, I couldn't comment. I was like, did you open in browser? Did you open the app? No. And he's a DJ who does a show himself. So obviously, you know, it's asking people to go to another planet if you're asking them to move away from Facebook. Facebook's very easy where you can just switch, flick through kind of thing. So I think now, going to Mixcloud, I mean, I was approached by Mixcloud in June to go over to them and test it out and stuff. There was a guy who was on our group who worked for Mixcloud, so we approached a few of us and said, look, we want you to trial it and see how it goes. I really, really wish that we'd gone over in June and moved the whole group to Mixcloud, because, you know, the 2,000 people that are there now, there'd be over 10,000, I'd say, and we'd be getting a lot more viewers than what we get now.
I'm not sure if you would. I'm,
Do you know what I mean?
I personally, I'm not sure if you would, because as I've said to you before, from my own experience, the fact of having putting out podcasts year after year from some of the biggest DJs in the world through my own podcasting system, and then loading it to Mixcloud as well, we still only have a few thousand people that follow the Vocal Booth page. There's not that many, and then the actual listens to the Mixcloud, to the mixes, again, isn't even that many, unless
Yeah.
and the frustrating thing, which is a totally different topic, as DJs, you feel that what you're putting out there, the content is top notch, and it's frustrating that why it's not about, as Stu just said, it's not about trying to have the fame or the glory. It's just that you believe what you've got is great, and you just want to share that with everybody. Would you agree, Stu?
Yeah, definitely. And again, what you're saying, if you get in your head about numbers, again, mentally, it's not a good place to be. Like if you're worrying why Gok One has got 8,000 people watching him and you've got 8, right? It's going to mess with your head.
It's funny. It's funny you bring him up, because I was thinking about him yesterday.
Can I just interrupt there? Okay, every single day I get a text message from wherever it's India, Dubai, or wherever it is. We will give you so many thousand viewers. Yeah. Have you commented on Gok One's post?
I haven't, mate. No,
you comment on there. Your comment comes up within like five seconds.
Right.
Now tell me, okay, how is your comment coming up that quick? Because if there's 8,000 people watching, they're commenting. Your comment's not coming up that fast. I'm sorry. So is he paying to have these 1,000? Maybe they are, but yeah. I don't. The numbers don't add up to me. And don't get me wrong, because I went over and watched a girl the other day who he recommended on Mixcloud.
Yeah.
And he said, right, everyone goes to watch this girl. Straight away, there's 2,500 views on this girl's Mixcloud.
But that's the power of celebrity, though, you know.
Exactly, yeah. But what I was saying is, are some of these numbers being, because obviously if he pays £50 for 3,000 views on there, that looks good. So it hits.
I wouldn't say someone that Gok One would be paying for views like that. I think it's just that whole celebrity aura around him. And I've got good, I've got real true music lovers, good friends, clued up people who comment to me and say, you know what, that Gok One stream, it's okay. It's the same as the whole Idris Elba thing. Yeah. People look down their nose because he doesn't appear to have earned his stripes. It doesn't take away the fact that he's a great DJ. Do you know? It's one of those things. This is another. I'm going to do these regularly with different panelists, and there's another angle that I'm going to address about getting inflated numbers and inflated followers is by plagiarism and sharing other people's content to inflate your own traffic to your page. That's going to be something further down the line that I'm having with a couple of real quite big organisations.
Sorry, mate. Just my theory on the numbers thing.
Carry on.
Was basically, again, I'm only in competition with myself. That's it. Do you know what I mean? And like, if you get what I mean, like, so many people go, Stuart, have you seen what so-and-so's doing? So-and-so doing? Is he ripping that off? Is he doing that? And I'm like, mate, concentrate on what we're doing and make that the best it can be. Don't worry about, I'm aware, and I'll take bits off people. I'll look at Jansch, what they're doing, and go, look, it's brilliant. Maybe little bits off, but you're not copying or anything like that. Just worry about yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Let me pick you up on that, because it was something that I wrote down in my mental notes, and then my mental notes went straight out the window as soon as this bloody graphic started going all glitchy. Let me just apologise to everybody watching online. When I was testing this morning, everything was great. Started testing with these guys. We're like robots on the video, so it's a bit annoying, but that's by the by. You saying that about originality, Stu, I sent you that image of a t-shirt and a sweatshirt that I'd made for Vocal Booth 5 years ago, very much in line with a t-shirt that you've got out there now. And it never once occurred to me that you'd rip me off. It was just like, check this out, we'd done that 5 years ago. Because we're such good friends, it never even occurred to me that you would think
I'll send you a pen, mate.
I was having a go at you. But my comment to you was, there's truly nothing. I'm not sure if there's any idea now that's truly original. Everybody is taking inspiration from somewhere else. Everybody is giving inspiration to somebody else. My tagline for many years, and many people will attest to this, is inspire and be inspired. I'm never too proud to take inspiration from people.
But there, mate, I'm just going to write it down.
You put it on a t-shirt. Inspire and be inspired.
There for thinking, down there for dancing, son. Don't worry about that.
There you go. You know, never be too proud to take inspiration from people. I'd like to think I've given Jansch some inspiration down the years, and I also am never too proud to look at how other people are doing good things. And so even this online chat now, it's been inspired by conversations that I've seen online by Mark Wilkinson, by yourself, Jansch, this whole new Clubhouse platform. Jeff Jefferson invited me to that. I've been listening to a lot of panels on there. That again, I'm not sure the effectiveness of how that's going to be down the line. At the moment, it's the buzz thing, the old Clubhouse. But I can see that Facebook are going to try and incorporate the way that operates into its system somewhere down the line.
Can I just ask a question as well, Anne?
Yeah.
Ray King has just commented, and now I'm actually going to pull you on this T-shirt now.
Okay.
Because Love was Donovan Love, and that T-shirt comes from back then, obviously underneath the ramp.
Yeah, but it even goes further back to a different designer. Yeah, so that's what I mean. There's very, very little that I can lay claim to that I've done on Vocal Booth that hasn't been. I mean, even people that I wrote a book, The Story of the Vocal Booth Weekend. All right, Stu. We get it, mate. We get it. Word of mouth, love. Even in the Vocal Booth book, I said that before, and I wrote this down and the book got published, and I said before we were using the term family for events, there wasn't any event using the term family for their crowd. Now, when I read that back, I thought that's probably totally false. I'm sure there's loads of people who can come around and turn around and say, well, look, Wardy, this, and this. So I kind of regret saying that. But I also do believe that if you say family within our network, a lot of people will think of Vocal Booth immediately. But I've heard you say Famalam now.
Well, and do you know something, Kant? It's not come. I've never ever mentioned that. The crazy lot on our group call themselves a Famalam, and it's just a tagline now. And like I say, you know me, mate. I'm 100% Vocal Booth, and VB is my family kind of thing. You know what I mean? But this branch of obviously this new Famalam, and like I put it on a post on a headline. I actually thought, bloody hell, Woods is going to pull me on.
I never would. No one owns it. So let me just stop there, because we're going off on a tangent. I got a few more points that I want to bring up, but I'm just looking on the chat, and it's nice to see we got a fair few people watching and interested. Stuart's already beat me to it. I was going to say to Damien, you want to ask a question? Fire away, buddy. So we're a little bit behind. So while you ask the question, Damien, let me go to Stuart as the more versed on the art of promoting amongst us, because I class myself as being very fortunate. I have a captive audience, so to speak, that I've nurtured over the years, so that whenever I do anything, I know I'm reaching out to a certain amount of people, and it's going to be directly what they want, and I can rely on their support without a question. Stuart, you're more, you've got more experience in blanket promoting and not having that certainty to a degree, because you have got your loyal followers as well. So tell me about the process of the idea, the execution, and then how much you are shitting yourself until the doors open.
Mate, as well for me, everything starts with an idea, mate. Everything, and it's just how you process that idea, and whether you've got, again, the skills in yourself and the people around you to put that idea across. And obviously, with all the online stuff, content is key, really. And the more crazy, the better. The only problem at the moment, you've got you're basically like a walking meme. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy that you find yourself in. But again, I have to be confident in what I do, and I am. And I am in the fact that the more people see it, the more people will like it. But then obviously, you've got to put yourself out there to also be shot down. If if there's 100 people that like it, there's there's 10 of them who just won't like you. And again, mentally, you have to move on from that. You know, it is so weird that we, you know, people who don't like it now, I think they just switch off, and you can switch off. I still don't get people who, like, for instance,
Who comment negatively.
Yeah, like I switch off. I don't tell them about it. I'm not like, I just don't get people who go, mate, this is rubbish. Well, just go away then. Do you know what I mean? Don't watch it. You know, why are you giving me this negative energy? But, you know, if you think, so one of my latest ideas is a trike, you know, which is, mate, I just, basically, I saw, you know, I thought, I've been in my cellar quite a long time now, and I think, like, the weather's about to change, but then also with the new laws, the rule of 6, there is going to be that gap between when club opens in summer, hopefully, till now. So how can I, for me, for my own mental health, to get out and DJ? Obviously, I've seen stuff like Stuart, who's just unbelievable, you know, strapping the decks to him, walking around. I'm thinking, hold on, Wardy, I'm going to be 43 this year. I've got sciatica. My knees are nearly shot. I ain't strapping nothing to me. Do you know what I mean? So then you'll know Ted Nielsen, guys, you know, and so me and him are just looking for ideas. And the Scandinavian trikes have come up, and I'm looking at them, I'm going, these are decent, these, by the way, right? So I'm looking everywhere for one, and I found, like, the Cargo Trike Company. I bought just the shell, and then I said, Ted, you know that DJ booth that you built, welded, can you do it? And me and Ted, mate, our ideas, he's like, Stu, send it over. So I went over to Ted's, I took the decks, the speaker, everything. He's welded like the kit around. But then I thought, how am I going to power all this? I thought the lithium batteries are going to go. And I thought, obviously, like the petrol ones. And I'm like, hold on a second here. Right.
He's sitting on top of a time bomb.
I know, yeah. I was like, this, mate, you know, I like a gamble, mate, but, you know, I know when I'm shot. So then I've looked at these batteries, and there's this, like, new age company, like a startup company, EcoFlow. And I've looked at them, I thought, they're really expensive, mate. We're talking 1,400 quid here. And I'm like, no way. So as me, you know, I've got a bit of chat. I'm always nice. Do you know what I mean? So I've gone, all right, mate, how you doing, mate? He's come back. I used to listen to your podcast on Ed Candy. I was like, mate, what you saying? Let's do a deal. I'll put your sticker on.
Unbelievable.
I'll put your sticker on. So he's done me a deal, mate. And, you know, and we're pushing them. They're pushing us. And,
King Blagger. So without cutting you off,
sorry, man.
The whole point of my question wasn't about you to promote your fucking trike. It was to tell us about how you get the idea of an event online and how you reach the people. What's the avenues?
Okay. So,
and fair play on the trike. It is absolutely incredible. You should check it out.
So the point about look, your idea for the event. So first thing is, for me, you know, what is the event? If you're thinking, for me, again, we're doing like a garden party. So we will do a garden. So we've gone to the venue. I've messaged the venue. They're interested. Then I go over and look at it. Then in my head, I'm thinking, what type of thing can we do? And already I'm going club classics, garden party, cocktails, dress up. Mix all them together, get the theme in, then you bring it back, do your design. But to be honest, mate, at the moment, your best design is kind of like the things that work actually is crazy that they take the less work. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, if it's just nuts, because I have to do, as people can probably tell, I'm not into stuff. You know, I have everything written down in my notes, everything. Trying to get that information over to people is impossible on Facebook. If I wrote everything down, it just no one sees it. Do you know what I mean? But if I put a picture of the venue and just like an emoji, everyone will go, "Oh my god, what's that? This, that." Do you know what I mean?
So that's a brilliant point that you put there. The more information that you give, it just, a lot of the time, it goes over people's heads.
But it does my nutting, because it freaks me out, because I'm this person, and then also, but then again. And what people don't understand as well, it's like, so if you do that one of where you put a picture out, I'm the type of person where I have to be there and answer everybody back, hands on. Do you know what I mean? So if they're going, where is it? Here it is. Here's the link. So you're better off doing that. But that's where the hard work is after it. Like, for instance, like on my inbox now, I'm sure someone will come up that he never messages me back, but I've got a few there. But everyone has, I like to be hands-on, and I think that's probably how we build up.
Well, you also went very, what appeared to be very quickly, from not being that visual. It was only the last 18 months or maybe 2 years, because time goes so quickly, that all of a sudden you bang on the videos, your Instagram's firing with your videos, you're there with the wife, and you're promoting, walking around the garden, look at, how about these people? And as you say, it's because I know you and I know the energy that you've got and I know how genuine you are. I say, yeah, fair play, Stu. But yet, there are other people going, who's this? Why is he putting these videos on all the time? What the for? Do you know what I mean? So how did that come about? How did you make that transition to the videos? Or am I mistaken? Have you been doing that for a long time?
No, mate, and as well, again, I think if you see the things out there and you look within the marketing aspects of stuff, like the more you read it, you've got to wear your heart on the sleeve. And I'm sure that probably what you're thinking about, again, like the highs and lows of online promoting. Let's say, for instance, you have to put yourself out there. You've got to be out there. You've got to be recording it. And then what happens if it doesn't work? You go into a slump. You're like, oh, and how do you get out of it?
Mm-hmm.
So, but then it's also the same after like a big event, even an online event. You're out there. You put yourself on your line, and even so, mate, if you've had a bit of a drink as well while you're doing it, while you're up there, mate, the problem is there's a down there, mate, and
Mm-hmm.
like when you're down there, you're like, oh, mate, I just want to close the curtains, mate, and watch Netflix all day. The problem is, right, you can't.
You've got the next date.
Family to deal with. And then, mate, that's when your inbox starts to go. People are messaging you, they want you, and you need to click back into gear quickly, or you've lost your brand. Do you know what I mean? So you have to be on all the time. So they're the highs and lows, and I'm sure, that's probably
for me, one of the highs is, I do a weekly radio show. I've got all this equipment. I've got this technology when it decides to work. I hate being in front of the camera, but I'm forcing myself to do it so that I get more comfortable with it. And I'm also, not that I'm uncomfortable, but I just don't really like to be here. I'm so used to being behind the microphone on air, talking to people in a chat room. But I also understand that if we try to have this conversation on the radio, you'd only get a handful of people, whereas the traffic of people coming through that will watch you on Facebook is a lot more. Contradicting myself when I say about don't focus on the numbers, but because what we're trying to do is help people. I'm not selling anything here. I'm helping you guys promote what you do. But at the same time, it is still just something that we're passionate about. So you do have to take yourself out that comfort zone. And I do that a lot by doing this and other things that I'm pushing as well. Mainly because it's something, because I'm a creative person and it's an idea that I have to get out of me to test and to make it work. And there is the frustration when you see other people doing what you're trying to do not as good and getting much better results. I think that's where the frustration comes as well. Would you agree, Jansch? Because are you still watching the Blues?
No, mate. My iPad's going to go out the window. No, I totally agree, mate. Like you say, I've seen the way Stu has grown, and I've been part of the Vocal Booth family for like last 8-9 years now, kind of thing. And I've seen how, yourself, and I've seen, I know you don't like to be called a DJ and this world famous DJ, but you are a world famous DJ, and to us, do you know what I mean? I get the pleasure of speaking to you most days on Call of Duty. But
I don't have the time to do that.
But that's, Stu, lockdown has turned me into a gaming addict as well. But like I say, I mean, I see Stu, like you say, he's got pens there, he's got, badges and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm a million miles away from that there kind of thing. And obviously, like I say, oh my God.
That is the elite game, boys. That is the elite game. That's where I'm at with my gaming.
PS2.
Brilliant.
So like obviously seeing where obviously these got you guys and the brands, it's quite funny actually. I'm on a WhatsApp chat with a few people, and 3 people have told me about events they're doing today on the WhatsApp chat. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to throw a ball of fire in here now. Say, oh yeah, mine's in between that date as well, and it's just gone radio silence because they're like, what?
Yeah, the problem
And I
is
asked,
it's impossible to now try and navigate the clubbing calendar. But, let's throw lockdown out of the window. I was always preaching to people. There's a few core promoters within the Vocal Booth network, and I had to like pipe up at one point and say, you guys all should be communicating between yourselves to make sure you're not treading on each other's toes, because we're all feeding from the same group of people. You've got your Southport Weekender, for example, who's the granddaddy of all events in the UK. Nothing that anybody does is going to hinder their turnout on the day. But then you've got much lower level promotions that if you put something on head to head with somebody else, you are halving your potential attendees,
Yeah.
and it's frustrating really. But now there's that many events on, and depending on the person that you are, you can take it personally that someone's directly tried to sabotage you, or but the 9 times out of 10, the guys will say, to be fair, mate, I didn't even know about your event. Do you know what I mean? Because I can't see it, which comes back to the visibility and getting into people's eyes. I've lost track of the point I was making there.
So obviously, like you were just saying about the traffic as well, coming from what you see on radio as well. So this, and I think I said it to you the other day, video killed the radio star kind of thing. I think more since lockdowns happened, and Stuart agreed with me. Obviously, I remember seeing Stu's obviously first shows that he was doing on lockdown as well, kind of thing. To keep that reach, obviously people had to be out in front. And I've spoken to DJs, asked them to come and do sets on Through Music and stuff, and they're like, "No, I'm not doing that." And they're just like, well, hold on a minute. Like, everyone else is still putting themselves out there, but you're basically saying, okay, well, I'm not going to DJ through the whole this time, whatever it's going to be. I mean, we had to drag Wookie on the other day. He hates being in front of the camera, but once he's there, he loves it. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I think, like I said, obviously keeping yourself still out there and obviously promoting yourself as a DJ and kind of thing. I mean, like I say, the guys who DJ for us every single week, like there's 35 different people, different DJs who go from like Monday to Sunday every single week, at various times from all over the world. We've got DJs all over the world who play for us, and every single week they're still giving us the time that they're going to play and stuff. So obviously, when we come out of lockdown, like your question was, where does that leave people like myself, who's predominantly, set up an online, virtual, gathering kind of thing. So I have got to move quickly on events, and like I said, my focus now is trying to find, a location and try. I went up to 3 different places yesterday. The one place is I'm just like Stu just said, it's either going to be a 10,000 people or 10 people there. Yeah. So it's
well, I said to you, didn't I? You've got to move forward cautiously, and knowing the person that you are, and knowing if it was myself as well, nothing that anybody says to you trying to warn you off putting events on is going to hit home until you've actually tried it yourself. It's that itch that you have to scratch. So I'm just going to go very quickly to a couple of questions and give them to you guys. Damien was asking a question. Let me just read this back. He's been off Pressure Radio for some time now. He's about to come back, and he's saying historically the numbers are small when he's live. The promotion of his show is through Twitter and podcasts using Podomatic. He doesn't like to keep reposting, and he doesn't tag people in it, as that's poor form. How can you get the message across to increase traffic? He just wants to share what he thinks is a decent show to the people and get them to enjoy it. So I've got an answer to that, but I feel I've spoken enough. Stuart, what would you recommend?
Mate, I'll tell you what. I can't believe, like, for instance, we're getting some good numbers still on Facebook. I'm one of the crazy ones. I'll probably pick up on it later, mate, of why we're still on Facebook and how I'm kind of getting round still doing Facebook. Mm-hmm. But if you think, mate, I start on a Monday, right, for the shows on a Friday, where I'm designing everything. If you're thinking we're in a kind of position where I've got a big mail out to do, then I've got a VIP group, I've got profiles, I've got our page. And I think with me, I'm kind of, again, doing it, I like to prepare everything. So,
but that's people that those are people that you've, for want of a better phrase, you've farmed those people. You've created that network of people who, want to hear about your stuff, haven't you? They're there waiting for you to share stuff to them.
and just on the of trying to build that, if you think what I'm quite proud of the tickets that have been sold for real events, not there's only a small percentage that have had refunds. If you think, and the only way that we've done that is through honesty and transparency, which was on about before with events, and it's the same with the online stuff. And again, Jans, with what you're on about with other promoters, it's so great at the moment. I've got another promoters who are messaging me going, Stu, we're on about doing this. Is there any clashes? For me, perfect. That's the way you need to be. Everyone's happy. Everyone's doing this. And it's also the same within the online stuff. If you're not honest or transparent in what you're doing, then people aren't going to believe in your product. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's why, you know, hopefully I always wear my heart on the sleeve. I try and do my best. Sometimes I try too hard. Hence why I'm showing you stickers. Do you know what I mean? So, you know,
show us the t-shirt. I love that t-shirt, actually. Got it on vinyl.
And again,
lovely.
If Emily's watching now, Emily is one of the girls who watches the stream. She would always say it. Do you know what I mean? So I thought, you know what, we'll get the t-shirts made.
So before I forget, all of this merchandise that you're selling on wordofmouth.com. What's the
wordofmouthevents.com, mate? Yeah.
Wordofmouthevents.com. Okay.
So, buddy, just on the streams, if you think, and I'm sure Jans will agree, it's again trying to get people so they know like the time of when it's on. Use all the tools at your disposal. Like for instance, like for me on Facebook, I'll set up the event, then I will invite everyone to the event, and then also I will create the live stream through that event. So then also I've got the event to remind people. Then you've got the reminder to remind people. So there's more or less a countdown. Then through the week, you're creating the content to get people heading towards that. Like I'm hopeful that people know tonight I'll be on at 7:00. Everybody.
Oh, was that a plug? Was that a plug?
Mate, this ain't no sit down meal. Do you know what I mean? What's going on? So,
food on the table.
But if mate, and to be fair, of the people watching now, again mentally, like there's people who go, you know what, I'll go and check that out, and then there's other people going, and then there's other mate, that guy, I'm never watching him. Do you know what I mean? And you know what? And I'll take those hits on the chin. Yes. I've got a big enough chin. Do you know what I mean? Don't worry about. So if you get rid of it, we're kind of pushing all into that
everything. So you have got a schedule. I'll come to you in a second. Yes, before I forget. With myself, Damien, as you know, I have a semi-popular, I'd say it's a semi-popular radio show. We have, and it's all relative numbers, you know, is 20 people listening a lot? Is 120 people listening a lot? Is 1,000 people on a podcast a lot? Is 200 people on a podcast a lot? It depends on how you feel. For myself, I got sick to the back teeth of having to constantly remind people about my radio show, and it's something that I mentioned earlier. I get to that point now on a Sunday, just before I go on air, I'll put a post on my feed saying I'm going on air, just on the off chance that I might spark one person to think, oh yeah, Wardy's on, I'm going to listen to that, because otherwise they'll forget. But I'm in the place where I know I've got my 25, 30 people who are commenting in the chat room religiously on a weekly basis, and we have that one-on-one. If I was at a small bar playing to those people and talking with them, that'd be beautiful, that'd be fantastic. And then we have a lot more people listening on the outside of the chat room. But if you just focus on who's listening with you and enjoying it, it's more about your own personal battle with what you're trying to achieve. I don't know if I actually was succinct in my words in what I was trying to get across there, but some people don't like to push themselves too much, and yet if you don't push yourself enough, then you're never going to grow. It's one of those things. Would you agree, Jans?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got, you know, like I say, the amount of DJs we are playing for us, there's certain DJs who will promote themselves Monday to whenever they're on. Say, for instance, someone's on Friday, they will promote themselves from Monday to Friday to make sure they're getting that captive audience. And other people will just rely on the people who actually come from the next show as well. Mm-hmm. I've actually said to the DJs who play for us, look, we need to step up. You know, we need to start promoting things. Now, obviously, I read Damien's comment there, his question. I would just say, like, obviously, Stu obviously does it himself, Instagram, a little 10-second snippet of whatever he's playing. you know, what he's playing kind of thing. And Mixcloud now as well gives you, I think it's a 20-second snippet of your last mix.
Right.
You can actually load that as well and use that in your video as well. So again, like obviously, you know, Damien obviously mentioning this is when his show is, you know, it's a weekly show, and just doing little. There's a great app called Splice that you can use, and you can make great content from it. It's I think it's free, or it might be something like $4.99 a month or something like that. I can't remember it is. But I use a thing called Over as well, and obviously, you know, there's like Stu said, you have to be a graphic designer, you have to be everything. But obviously, with me, even with photography and stuff, I, you know, sort of know how to do a lot of that anyway. But I would just say, start doing a little, you know, just small content reels and try and get yourself up off there. One of the lads uses TikTok. Now, for me, TikTok is about kids, but within something like 6 months, he's got over 10,000 TikTok views on, you know, and now he's just done a video for a certain paint company. And he's just been picked up by this paint company to be their face of their paint company just from his TikTok.
Wow.
And that's crazy to me. Like, just the power of social media. And now he's going to be the face of Harris Brushes.
That's fantastic. That is really good. I mean, there is so much potential out there, but
yeah,
it's one of the things that I said, and everybody that knows the way that I promote and the things that I push, I've got no desire to. I'm old enough. I've got enough friends. I don't need any more friends. I don't need to be finding a new social circle. So that's one of the things that I feel kind of holds me back a little bit. And yet at the same time, I'm not arrogant enough to think that if I pushed myself and I was doing these things, that you would get any more people, because there's only so much that you can do. And it doesn't really, sometimes it doesn't make an ounce of difference. Have you found that, Stu? Has that been your experience, that you can try all of these things, trying to broaden the net, trying to reach new people, and it's a waste of time?
Yeah, Wardy, there's a couple of things on that point. One, I'll just go to Ray here, which is going on to the point that you just said. What was harder was the old way of handing out flyers and tapes and building nights, or social media. To be honest, it's weird how I can relate to what I was doing then to what I'm doing now. For instance, when we used to hand out flyers, we changed it where we're doing flyer packs. So in the flyer packs, you had a CD, sweets, and things like that. And then when you went into the shop, you kind of had conversations with people. Do you know what I mean? So you were building relationships then. If you just went in, dropped the flyers off, that ain't working. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's the same now. You're creating the content, you're giving it to people, and then you're taking time to message it for them to take it in, and then also you're doing it. And then if I just post a link, I mean, mate, one of the worst things that I get for me, and Jansch, I'm sure you said is that someone will just send me a link like to their mix, not hello, not anything, will just send it to my inbox, and I'm like, mate, I have worked my nuts off for 15 years, right? Like, for instance, when I got my, let's say, Head Candy residency, right, I'd produced tracks that went all the shop, grafted my heart off, right, went down to meetings for London, gave them like a press pack and everything, printed everything off, right. If you're thinking some geezer's just sending me a link, it freaks my brain out, man. I'm just like,
it's like that graphic, isn't it? The iceberg with the success above the water and everything underneath what you need to get. And people only see the you know, the glory, so to speak, from it. Christine Bush is saying that the station that Damien works on, Pressure Radio, I do my show as well. She says they don't show a weekly timetable that often. Maybe it would get more listeners. Well, yeah, that is because Pressure is run by a gentleman who's got a full-time job. He's the first to admit he doesn't have the time that he would like to dedicate to pushing the station. Some of us do get a bit involved with the graphics that we do and organising events and stuff like that, but he's quite happy with where Pressure is, and he's not really trying to take it to the next level, whereas there are new streaming stations that have come along who they're all up in your grill, so to speak, and they appear to be getting the traffic and the traction, and that's just the nature of the beast. That's just the way it is. Horses for courses. It's, you know, I'm happy doing what I do. I don't really want to go and take it to a next level and whatever. You know, I think there's so many pitfalls and so many pluses about this whole online promoting. I think we have addressed a lot of the positives that we've that can be attained from it, and the best avenues for you to reach out. But the crux of it is you do have to keep. You can't be arrogant enough to put one post up a week and expect people to remember that you've got that show. Then you made a great point, Stu, about creating relationships with people. Damien could go out of his way to email or message on Facebook a handful of people who he knows have commented in the past, love his show, and say, listen, I'm back on a Thursday, love to see you in the chat room. And those people will feel they'll feel like a responsibility. Oh, he's took the time to message me. Let me go and show him some support in the chat room, and I'll be there. And it rolls on like that.
Yeah, and for me as well, you do have to have both. I know there's a bit of spamming and stuff like that, but for me, having a combination of the both isn't that bad. If you're thinking, so, you know, people have a mental note, it's on, it's kind of drilled into them that it's on. Mm-hmm. Then there's also the organic flow of it, of where, it comes across okay. So, you know, it all again funnels. And say, for instance, with me, all the figures, and, you know, there's a pie chart, for instance, you know.
A pie chart? Hold on. Never. I'll tell a lie. I do actually put a pie chart out for something else that I do. Carry on.
So if you think, how many people have just clicked in the last couple of minutes that they fell on it? So you got to make sure that your notifications work, you know, or have people just gone straight there? You know, where are people coming from? All that comes through the website or on your Facebook, you know, on your insights. It's intriguing stuff. And once you get to the nuts and bolts of that, it's, you know, it can fry your brain, but you've got to know it, you know. So it's tough. But again, just on the mental note of it, sorry, Jans, again.
No, it's okay.
Once you're up there and it works, and it doesn't, once you're down there again, like the biggest thing again is that. And then, sorry, Ward, I know what you might come on through in a bit, is the technology of there. What I was going to say to you guys of how nervous that the online gigs are. Like, I don't get nervous playing out, but because I'm only nervous when I don't know what I'm doing. And obviously, like the internet, I don't really know, you know, everything is like a minefield. Everything could just go off like that or anything. So, sorry, Jans, carry on with it.
No, I was just going to say, obviously, you know, regarding your website and that, Stuart, have you noticed like quite, you know, how much traffic you get through the website now? Have you noticed a big difference from having the website? Have you, from obviously, you know, because obviously, you know, you're predominantly Facebook and predominantly, obviously, you know, and I see you obviously, you know, the t-shirts and stuff, and then you put everything to your website now, and I think you tried to stream from the website as well, didn't you, kind of thing? Have you noticed that the traffic has gone from there differently?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a game changer having that domain and having a website, to have a base for everyone to go to see what's on. And this, you obviously need your Facebook, but having like your website and build, and again, Squarespace of what I use for the website is great. I've learned how to use it myself. It's for everyone who wants to do it. It's not that hard really to use it, and for everyone to have a base to go towards.
If only we knew a web designer and someone who provided hosting as well.
I'm saying, go to Andy. It's not that easy. It's really difficult. Go to Andy to do it.
He's been building mine for 2 years. I'm still sending him the bloody content. But I bought the domain names for music as well. So obviously that's what I'm thinking. Obviously, you know, is it something that I've obviously been pondering about as I've been doing my bloody Facebook? Yeah, it's just crazy.
But you have to you got to put the graft in to get the traffic there.
Yeah, of course. You know, I'm a photographer by what I call myself. You know, I've never claimed to be a DJ, and the photography has got me into this kind of thing. And you know, it just mad. I did a post the other day regarding weddings. Within like an hour, I'd had one booking. Within 2 days, I've had 4 bookings and 2 other inquiries. It's just crazy, and that's just the power of Facebook. And again, like you said, if I had a website, and you know, this week is my website week, and it's focused. Like,
you said that last March.
And you know how I feel about my job, and you know, I'm in a job that I pay very, very well to do, and I love, you know, obviously earning money, but my passion is in my photography and in through music now, and I want a life where I could be sat in Spain from like 5 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night playing Call of Duty.
Listen, I say it time and time again. Just, I've worked hard for this life. Okay, very, very quickly, because I've got other things to do. I know you guys have got things to do. You mentioned about Facebook. Stu, what's your feelings about paid advertising on Facebook? Have you had successes? Have you found it's a waste of money if you don't do it right? Because you can throw a lot of money at it and not get the results.
Yeah, for sure. Just on the thing as well of what works on Facebook quickly. For instance, like I've got a new track coming out, right?
Jesus Christ.
No, wait, no, let me tell you about the story behind it, of where I've got one of my friends who plays sax on it. Now, I could just post the track out and that's it, right? But that's not what you've got to do. So, for instance, I've got to have a Zoom chat with Ben, who plays sax, of how the track came about. Then I've got to go in my cellar, record the track, and then put it next to it. And then I've got to design the video. Then I've got to put it all together. And then I will set the video as a premiere so it appears live. And then that's how it, you get what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's how, you know, that's the difference with it having.
And would you boost any of those posts? When I say boost, if people don't know, because a lot of people wouldn't be in the promotion game to do that, you can pay. You've probably seen it, but not many people have ever done it. Yeah, you can pay to increase your viewership, to reach more people, because as it increases, we've all got more and more friends now. So getting into their line of vision is increasingly difficult. If you pay 10 quid, 50 quid, 100 quid to reach so many thousands of people, if you do it wrong, then you just reach a whole load of fake people. We all get these fake friend requests. And that's basically what happens. You reach the wrong people. So that's why, coming back to what you were saying, Stu, about the fake figures. So I just wanted to say about that. So come back to about the boost and what paid promotion or boosting, what works best for you.
Yeah, to be honest, again, just all the organic content is key. But, and also when you do boost the video, even if you do a small bit, you can change it to have a button on, which also works. Do you know what I mean? And then also there's bots that you can put in there. So if people comment, then they get a message to their inbox, which again is another tool, and that works for us. If people, you know, so it is all funneled through there. There is always a method to the madness. But yes, I have been known like to boost the videos, especially when we've got real world events on and there's so much out there. You do have to put a little boost on, but nothing, you know, nothing crazy. And again, everything that boost, if I have got like a real world event, that budget is within like my spreadsheet. I won't, and like I won't go over it, and I won't go under it really. If I have to think, oh my god, I'm struggling here, I'll have to like we haven't sold enough tickets, I'll have to pull away on something, and then I'll add some extra promotion somewhere. Mm-hmm. But then also, for instance, you know, if an event's not working, I'll have to go up to the venue, then do an organic video from there to try and push that out there. You know, just always, mate, thinking on your feet, trying to come with it, but basically selling your soul.
It's a grind. It's a grind, isn't it?
Once again, when you're selling your soul, it's all right when you're up there, but when you're down there, again, I keep saying that, and it is again. But just so on the live things with that as well, fail to prepare to fail. Do you know what I mean? It's a minefield. One of the things about the internet as well, the thing that's worked for me is like a wired connection. I can't believe, but back in lockdown 1, I was on my cellar on wireless. I was on
Wi-Fi.
What was I doing, man?
Yeah. That's important to all the DJs. Anyone streaming live, you really need a wired connection because there's a lot of, I can't even attempt to tell you why, but it's just better having the wire into the back of your computer. It's really essential. And also you can have all the best tools in the world, but if your computer isn't powerful enough, everything I've got in front of me looks absolutely fantastic. It's all working fine. But now these, as I say, we're all looking like robots, and it's really frustrated the hell out of me. And I've got no idea why, but it's just one of those things. It's just an excuse, really. I'm sure I can get a couple of £100 off the wife to buy a new computer.
Wardy, I think when we've got more time to try and discuss about the tech and how to get it all sounded, I think I think you'd be the man for that. I think a lot of people would appreciate that because, you know, you still see people with their phones, you know what I mean, on the side and recording it. Which...
I'm not so sure that you do see that now. I was kind of, I made it my life's mission to stop and tell anybody, and you was amazed how many people would take offence that you were trying to help them, take it personally, which is another thing as well to all the DJs out there who are struggling to get views on their mixes or to their radio shows or whatever. Don't take it personally. It isn't personal. You've got to remember that most of us, my network of people, were, you know, mid 40s to late 50s. Music isn't their lives anymore. So it's not like 20, 30 years ago. Now people are just quite happy sitting on the settee, watching crap on the telly, scrolling through the phone, and they'll stop in and have a quick look at a video. And that's just the reality of life.
Masked Singer, mate. Our viewers have gone up now. The Masked Singer's gone.
Mate, the Masked Singer, married at first sight in Australia. I mean, I could.
The Masked DJ, it's coming, mate. The Masked DJ, I'm telling you.
You know what? You probably wouldn't be.
Not a bad idea, you know.
Be far wrong. I've actually said many years ago that I would like to put an event on and shield the DJs from view, so you didn't know who it was. People just got on with it and had a crack, and at the end of the night, but you'd be 20 people in the crowd. But look, we're gonna do this conversation again, yeah, because, and I'm also going to be having more people in. I don't feel, Stu, that we had the opportunity to promote yourself and your merchandise and your website.
Mate, I've just sold a USB, mate. Mate, I've just sold a USB. Let's crack on. Let's stay on here. Let's just.
Dude, you actually need a photographer as well for your events.
Mate, but believe it or not, mate, one of the DJs who we use, mate, and that's the thing. He carries the kit. He's the photographer. He's the videographer.
I met him at Scott.
Joe, classing him.
Yeah, we
met.
You
know what I mean?
Right. Okay. I'm gonna interrupt you guys because I've got to get off because I have another quiz that I'm going to be doing live on Facebook in 35 minutes time, and I won't lie, full transparency, that's one of the reasons why I did this, because I wanted to get people's attention and hopefully they'll follow me across to this quiz that I'm doing. It's kind of like Name That Tune for the DJs, really, where we play some well-known tracks and get the DJs to name the tune just from the first bar. So Stu, I think we'll have to get you on one of those, mate. I know Jansch, we're going to get onto one of them, but it's called Buzzin. Just do a search in your Facebook for Buzzin, Buzzin. And then also, whenever the mood takes me, I'm going to do some more of these highs and lows online promotion. There's so many different avenues we can address. I'm not going to give Stuart the opportunity to promote anything because he'll be here all night. Wordofmouthevents.com. He'll be online later on his Mixcloud, on his Facebook, on his website. Jansch through Music We Live On. Massive schedule of DJs on a daily basis, 24 hours a day throughout, all around the globe, courtesy of the World Wide Web. Go and give those guys a follow on their pages, because that's a very important thing. Follows, even though we aren't... what's the word I'm trying to... Even though we are not overly concerned about how many likes and follows we have, the likes and follows that you do get actually does get you up in people's visibility on this algorithm that everyone's talking about. So if you can like a page that you are viewing, if you can like a video that you're viewing, and even just share it, it really does mean a lot to all of your favourite DJs, promoters and presenters. So thank you for that. Right, Stu, Jansch, final words, not promoting anything, last words. How did the Baggies and how did the Blues do?
But Brighton have just got a penalty, to be fair.
Oh dear.
Just for me, mate, just the mental aspect of what we're doing, Jans, I'm sure you'll agree. Actually, mate, I don't care, honestly, to actually just play music and DJ has been, you know, so massive for me. Do you know what I mean? Just to get all the ideas out, and I'm forever grateful that people have responded. So massive love.
Don't forget about mental health as well, Stu, what we've actually done for people's mental health throughout this lockdown. You know, we've helped so many people, you know, all over the world, really, who have been locked in a room, and, you know, some people have been scared to go out. Music has been the therapy, and it's really, really helped. So people like yourselves, myself, Mark Jarman, Rue J, George, you know, all these guys, you know, there's so Joe Cox. There's that many people now who don't realise what we've actually done for these people out there. And we've given our own. I had a talk with a few of the DJs the other day regarding about giving our time, but it's the listeners who come first, and that's our tagline. The listeners come first, and those listeners hopefully will be virtual people in front of us very, very soon.
Amazing. All the best with that, guys. All the best with you promoting. Thank you for giving me your time on the football day. And I'm going to end it here. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to say thank you to everybody that's been commenting. Apologies if we didn't get to say hello to you all. I think we did. We've been getting a hell of a lot of shares on the Through Music We Live On page. Also, we've been getting a lot of shares of the word of mouth events and Stu's tracks on Tracksource as well. Right, mate, we need to talk afterwards. I need some dough off you. Right, see you later, guys. Love you.
Okay, brother. All the best, man.
Respect.
See you, Jansch.
See you later, Stu. Take care, mate.
Thank you, guys. I'll be back in 20